What's up, YouTubers? It's Ernie, Blerd Without Fear, wishing you and yours a Merry Christmas. So, I figured what better way to do that than talking about the first appearance of Black Panther. Black Panther first appeared in Fantastic Four number 52 through number 54. That was when we first got introduced to the character, which is kind of what we're used to now, seeing as how in the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he was introduced in Captain America's third movie, Civil War. So it doesn't seem that far off that, he wouldn't get his first comic, right off the bat. And honestly, that's kind of par for the course for a lot of characters. But before we dig in to Black Panther's first appearance, let me know what comics you'd like to see me do a video on. Sound off in the comments. And if this is your first time checking out my channel, be sure to hit subscribe so you can become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers, and tap that bell button so you know when I post up. So Black Panther's first appearance, let's dig in. Black Panther has been buttering up the Fantastic Four for a minute, at least the way they make it sound in the first few pages of the comic. Reed Richards receives a futuristic car. Just a crazy looking futuristic car. It's not the Fantastic car with the 4 separate pods for each of the Fantastic Four, but I mean, it's nonetheless baller. He's buttering them up because he wants to have them come to Wakanda and meet with him and participate in a hunt, which is a cultural thing for Wakanda, and he claims that it will be the most magnificent hunt ever seen. Now, throughout this book, I'm just gonna go ahead and give you fair warning that, and this is just to showcase how technologically advanced Wakanda is, because to this point, we haven't seen this place or any of its characters. At every turn, the Fantastic Four remark about how amazing or crazy it is that these people have such technological wonders in the middle of a jungle. Now, to be fair, back then, Wakanda was just a jungle with technologically advanced equipment sprinkled here or there. Full disclosure, there's a plot line running through this 3-issue arc at the moment that involves the Inhumans being trapped away inside an indestructible barrier, and Human Torch, who at the time was in love with Crystal from the Inhumans. Both of them are just butthurt that they can't be with each other, and I'm not covering that. It's garbage, and also not about Black Panther, like, at all. So the FF show up and they get treated to the local sites of Wakanda. They marvel over the technology. They can't get over how advanced the people are for seeming so jungly. And not unlike the sleazy bar owner in that one episode of Atlanta, the envoy who has been giving them the tour of Wakanda just dips. And before you can say, "The fuck?" Black Panther shows up and opens a can of whoop ass on everybody. Now, this is where we learn of Black Panther's true superpower. Prep time. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't that Batman's power? That power that everybody just gives Batman whenever he's put up against some impossible odd that he should in no way humanly possible be able to beat, but because Batman is Batman and people are fanboys, that Batman will come out above all else because he had prep time. Yeah, that's also a Black Panther thing. I mean, not as bad as it is for Batman, because Black Panther's fanboys are a little more realistic, I feel. But Black Panther is that baller that if he did have prep time, he probably could beat all odds, even humanly impossible ones, because he's done it before. We've actually seen it. Like, he doesn't just pull a kryptonite ring out of his ass. But yes, that is his thing. He is a master strategist on par with characters in his universe like Captain America, Thanos, Corvus Glaive, and even DC Comics' own Batman. He knows how each and every single one of the Fantastic Four fight, think, and act. He knows their powers inside and out. He knows the Thing is a hothead, so he plans ahead and puts traps in motion that Thing will fall for, like rushing after the envoy and electrifying the trap door to disorient him, or treating the water in the area because Thing is dumb enough to drink from random water sources that he's not familiar with, and this water saps his strength and durability so that BP can go ham on him. He also knows that Human Torch is a bit of a maverick as well, and sets up an asbestos trap that will nullify his fire powers and keep him in check. He's even prepped for the Invisible Woman, who, despite her power to turn invisible, Black Panther can still track her because his senses, even back then during his first appearance, bordered on the supernatural. His sense of smell and sight are on par with an actual Black Panther. As of more recent comics, his senses are beyond supernatural. He's able to locate exactly where she is just on scent alone, and using knockout gas neutralizes her from the fight. See? Doesn't even hit her. Imagine that. A man, a black man, an African man no less, in a comic book in the 60s didn't hit the woman. Go figure. Probably because she was white, but still a gentleman nonetheless, even in combat. Mr. Fantastic is another story. He knows he can't just use master planning to take Reed down. He's just too smart for it. What he does is neutralize the light in the area, and despite Reed's reflexes, BP tricks him into reaching into a trap, locking him in a pair of advanced handcuffs. The one thing Black Panther didn't plan for, however, was Wyatt Wingfoot, a journeyman sidekick from the heyday of comics and one of few Native American comic book characters in existence. He's hung out with the FF, the Avengers, and pretty much any major superhero or superhero team to ever have access to the Baxter Building and Avengers Tower. Wyatt Wingfoot's just a normal dude. He has no superpowers, but he is very physically fit. Now, Wyatt Wingfoot came along at the last minute. He really just kind of happened to be around when they were getting ready to go to Wakanda, and they were like, hey, Wyatt Wingfoot's asleep. We don't want to leave him by himself. Let's just take him with us. So Wingfoot just woke up in Wakanda one day and was like, the fuck. So BP didn't plan for him. And while BP was putting the hurt on the FF, Wingfoot was helping get each of the Fantastic Four out of their respective predicaments. He winds up being the one who saves the day and stops Black Panther from actually pulling off his plan, which we find out was just a test. He didn't really want to hurt or kill the Fantastic Four, he was testing himself, because if he could take down the Fantastic Four, he could hypothetically take down his arch nemesis, Ulysses Claw, which makes no sense whatsoever. But whatever. At this stage in the game, Ulysses Claw isn't even superhuman. He's just a guy who has an army of randos with guns, and he has technology that allows him to create complex sound constructs, not unlike what you probably see from like a Green Lantern, but he can create like these seemingly living creatures that are powerful and are pretty much a pain in the ass to anybody who has to fight them. Now, the armies of Wakanda seem more than capable of handling them, but BP seems to have doubts, or something. He regales the FF with his backstory, which the Thing says some really racially and culturally insensitive things about. What it boils down to is that when T'Challa, the Black Panther, was a young boy, his father, T'Chaka, was chieftain. Now, at this point, T'Chaka was leading his armies against Ulysses Claw, who at the time was there to mine the vibranium, steal the vibranium actually, from Wakanda, and use it to fuel his scientific master plans. Because vibranium is really good at absorbing sound, because every villain back then had a gimmick, and his was sound. During a skirmish with Ulysses Claw and his men, T'Chaka is killed, right in front of T'Challa, and T'Challa, in a moment of grief and anger, picks up one of the weapons, which is some kind of sound rifle, and he uses it to open fire on Ulysses Claw and his men. He even cripples Ulysses Claw, crushing his right hand, causing him and his men to retreat. After story time wraps up, we discover that Claw has returned, and likely never left in the first place, but he has his iconic Force Glove, replacing the hand that was crushed by T'Challa. Thanks to BP's ingenuity and scientific mind, though, he figures out how to disable Claw's sound converter machine, which was really just flipping a switch, but whatevs. And he blows the place up with Claw in it. We later find out that Claw survives the destruction of his hidden base in Wakanda. Claw climbs inside what's left of the machine, which seems to be opening up some kind of sound wormhole. And we can assume that this is how Claw comes back later as the Claw that we know and Quotey Fingers love today. I mean, really, Claw's kind of a trash tier villain. He's only really dangerous when he's up against Black Panther, and probably mostly just because of the connection that they have, but it's very rare that he's actually, like, of any significance, but yeah, okay, whatever. After that, T'Challa and the Fantastic Four share a moment, and they become friends, which is pretty cool considering the fact that Black Panther is very close to Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four, and has even served as a member of the Fantastic Four, you know, at times in Reed's absence. So I thought that was pretty cool, and the Fantastic Four and Black Panther and the people of Wakanda have a game of baseball, because what's more American than that, right? But anyways, that is the first appearance of Black Panther. That's how it ends. Let me know what you all think. Sound off in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button. And if you want to see more awesome videos like this one, be sure to hit subscribe, so that way you can become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers, and tap that bell button so you know when I post up. Thank you again for taking the time to watch this video, and Merry Christmas, plus Ultra.